Hello, you beautiful people on YouTube and Rumble. Do I have some things for you should be concerned about Microsoft? And, well, they have done goofed and the federal court denied them. Well, they are failing at every turn that they take. They obviously are failing at every turn they take because over 3 billion people left Microsoft because of their stupidity, because of their scammer ways, and they think it's funny. Like, I just mistyped that. Plus, okay. Plus, they installed spyware to spy on you, to invade your privacy, which again, I'll get to later in this video. They have also created a Linux version, but they used Copilot the same way to spy on you, which again, I'll get later in the video. You are being scammed by Microsoft or Microslop, and they are secretly killing local accounts on all OSs they are creating. And they still refuse Rufus, which is an OS installation tool. And that's an important tool to use when you're installing an OS, basically Linux or basically Microsoft Windows or basically Mac or whatever. It's an important OS. There's so many installers, but they're still refusing Rufus. They are so adamant about it. They are out of their fucking minds. And now they have been sued by the federal government for violating privacy laws, all of them, violating 18 USC, no sections, but all those laws they have violated. Basically impersonation, impersonating a police officer, impersonating other people. Basically all the sections you can think of. Basically the Fifth Amendment is not going to save you this time. Plus, on top of that, they're selling your data to third world countries, to basically India, to help out their friends from that country, to basically fuck you over. That is a violation and a half. So, but what I said about basically invading your privacy and all that, well, I explained it. Basically, they are violating laws that they're not supposed to do, and they're still doing it, even though Bill Gates told them not to when he retired from Microsoft years ago. Actually, I shouldn't say years ago. Actually, no, it's been years ago. And he got slammed by the federal government before. In 1994, I believe, when he was trying to do the same thing. And guess what? He failed. And you, Microsoft, the CEO, Satya Nadella, you are doing the same exact thing that Bill Gates did years ago. Years ago. Hear my voice. Years ago. I've been through this shit years ago myself. And let me tell you something. When they implemented the Silence Online Privacy Protection Act, basically COPPA, in 96, when they implemented it, and President Bill Clinton made an executive order to pass it through in 1998. So there's a lot of shit that you are doing behind the scenes. That's not a joke, Satya Nadella. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. You're violating these specific laws, and you think it's funny, and you think you can get away with it because you're from India. Fuck you. and you're Hindu fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you. Honestly. Because you're saying fuck everybody else that's on Linux. Guess what? I'm displaying Linux right now. Fedora KDE 44. Desktop edition. KDE. 64-bit. And it's running well, and it's making this video with my picture on your, basically on your fucking shit. Google's another one, but I'll get to later because I think they're in deep shit now. But you fucked up. You ain't gonna get anybody's trust back. You're not getting their trust back. Honestly, they are not trusting you again. Unless a new owner takes over. And it cannot be a Hindu Indian. It has to be American only. Only. I don't think you understand. I mean, I understand you want to work for cheaper and all that, but I don't think you understand it's also driving our jobs to do the same thing. Because Mexicans think they can work it over. That's another problem. I'm not going to say El Salvador. I'm saying Brazil is another one. Basically, all these immigrants, they think they can work for less and they can do better work. No, you don't do that. You don't do this in this country. And I'm talking to everybody on YouTube. I'm talking to everybody. You don't do that kind of shit. At all. And as an honest to God truth, you don't screw over people you think you need to screw over. You think you're being racist and all that. No, you're being racist because you're a Hindu fucking piece of shit. And you think it's funny. You know what's funny? Me killing you. Honestly. Because you're to that point. Honestly. You're to that point. It's not a terroristic threat. I'm just saying in general. Because it's to that point, honestly. It's not just me. It's a lot of the U.S. citizens are basically sick of your shit. Not just not you, Satya Nadella, but basically all those Indians from India. I don't discriminate races or anything like that, but since they are discriminating the white race or the American race, then by all means, get the fuck out of my country. You don't belong here. Honestly. Anyway, that's enough of my ramble about that. Anyway, but Linux is taking over. Best recommendations, Ubuntu or Debian. Linux is basically best for Intel CPUs. Fedora or other Linux OSs like Catchy OS or Bazzite or etc., that is for AMD processors. Basically CPUs. That's the best point. That's the best thing. That's the best that you can do because I used Debian or basically Ubuntu before, and I've noticed it where on AMD it's lagging, but on Intel it's not. So it's got me a little, but Fedora, it does the same thing to Intel, but it doesn't do it to AMD CPUs. Same with Catchy OS or Bazzite. Oh, and by the way, if you don't think I'm on Fedora, try again. Without my camera in the face, but that's Fedora. 7.15 kernel. And I'm telling you, they're making more kernels, and it's becoming more stable. It used to be 7.13, and now it's more stable with 7.15. But I'm basically recording, and I'm playing a game called Satisfactory, and it's running smoothly, without a problem, without a hitch. So, brr. Let me close this out. Okay, here. And basically, this right here is basically my desktop. And I'm just using this as a notepad because I've been doing a lot of shit. Basically, talking about this video or getting this video rolling. But, again, Satya Nadella, you failed. Bill Gates, thank you for your service, but you screwed up in 94 and you realized it. And you didn't make the same mistake. Satya Nadella, you're making the same mistake. I'm surprised you didn't learn about the history of Microsoft, of what they did in 1994, actually 1980s. I'm surprised you didn't learn that history. So, that should be a red flag for us, and it's definitely a red flag for you, Satya Nadella, because you think you can spy on everybody. You think your AI co-pilot is going to spy on everybody. Plus, you're with your so-called screenshot feature, basically called Recall. That's also privacy in violation. That's invading privacy. That's also a privacy violation, period. So, you screwed up. You really screwed up. And Bill Gates is now furious with you. Because everything he built, okay, he built an empire that lasted for 20 plus years. And you, Satya Nadella, decided to destroy it. Linux is not your enemy. Linux is an OS. I mean, shit. I mean, Bazzai. I mean, all these. There's so many Linux distributions out there, even ones that are like basically hacker based. But no, because even Linux, basically even routers nowadays are running Linux, and you don't even know it. They're running Linux. They may have slow CPUs, but they get shit done. They basically all they do is just transfer network data. That's all they do. That's their job. Or the gateways, or the hubs, or anything like that. Well, the hubs are just dumb. But the routers or the gateways, they just transfer the data when they boot up. That's all they do. That's all their job is. Basically transferring data through over internet lines. So that's all Linux does, because Linux concentrates on one thing at a time, or it can have multiple things. Because I have a Linux Ubuntu server here, but it's offline, and I use it for basically storage, which I'm planning on turning it into a cloud for other things, basically security around my house. So, but that's down the road for me. But in any case, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you're doing fine on Linux, because Linux is very easy, very simple, and sometimes it's very explanatory. A lot of times, if you're stuck on a setting, let me see if I can bring up settings here. Well, this is the settings here. Mouse and touchpad, that's self-explanatory. Usually it does, and usually it doesn't on Fedora. I don't know what it does. But some of these are, see, even Bluetooth, that's explanatory. Excuse me, I'm still waking up. Disk sync camera. So, I mean, digital camera. And all, I mean, it's got everything. It's got every single driver you can think of, excepting Windows files that like to do stupid shit. And what I heard and what I saw, basically, because I put in a suggestion for it, and I basically went on their forums, they are making a Linux distribution basically for FL Studio, which is also a good thing. But some of their some of their instruments work and some of them don't. So they're still working on that, which is reasonable. So I'm giving them time to let them do what they got to do, because they're trying to switch over their computers over to Linux too, because they're noticing the difference. I mean, right now, I have a lot of shit loaded, and my computer is just running fine. And like I said, I got 128 gigs of RAM in this computer, and it uses like what, 8 gigabytes of that 128. But I use 128 because I do video productions and all that too, because it just goes done. But on Windows is like crashed, and that's what Windows does. Crash, and that's what it does. Linux, ding, done. There's a difference. There is a major difference. And basically Sony, and you're saying no more discs. I don't think you understand the ISOs that you're creating for your consoles or whatever can be cracked and they can be hacked, Sony. And they can be pirated. And you're also violating privacy as well. Privacy violations too. You're basically violating those laws. Basically, piracy. That's what you're doing. On your side, you think you get away with it because you have all this money. What's going to happen when you run out of that money? Oh shit. I'm in deep shit. Because you forget there's a cycle, and it's called the roundabout. You have your company, then you have your selling, then you have your customers, and you have your consoles, and when your basically consoles take a shit, you go out and get a new one. Basically, it gets recycled, and it goes back to your company to get repaired, or you build new ones. And it's called the cycle. I've been through this shit for years. So, but in most cases, this was mainly about Microsoft and their failures. They have failures. Now, I spelled Rufus wrong. It's spelled with an E, like a dumbass. It's called Rufus, not Reefus. That's my mole steak. I mean, mole. 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 Sorry. Referencing Austin Powers, Gold member. But in most cases, this is DJ Tracks. I'm signing off. I hope you folks actually have a good day, and please enjoy Linux, because you will notice the difference. I am serious. I'm not promoting it, but you will notice the difference. Honestly, you will notice the difference. Peace out.